One door holds the world's riches and the fulfillment of your dreams. The other door will have you fight your biggest nightmares. Choose wisely.
Gaming is fun. So maybe this also happened to you back when you were a kid. It is your birthday. You open up the presents from your parents and of course you got the game that you were hoping for. And your grandma even got you the guide that goes along with it. As far as I can remember as a kid, I often had some game guide along with the games that I played. It often makes sense because games didn't yet come with quest markers and other quality of life features. Some were actually quite complicated to figure out. I'm really not sure if I would have managed to do the Masks questline in Ocarina of Time. Same thing with the Big Goron sword. Or Big Goron sword. That giant two-hander sword. Maybe you will agree with me when I say that games back then could have quickly become quite frustrating without any guides. Just now I had one of those flashbacks. A suppressed memory. There was this Tarzan game for the Game Boy and I never managed to get past the first or second level. Didn't have any clue where I needed to go. I really wonder if I would manage nowadays. But I have to say that as a kid, I really wasn't the brightest one. Hell, my dad had a PlayStation 1 and this rally game. I spent most of my time trying to drive through the tree line. And here is Johnson speeding through the third leg of the rally. Dennis as a close second. Batoodle is still stuck at the start, trying to force his car through the tree texture. So I think that for kids, guides were really helpful back then. But as adults, maybe not so much anymore. You probably noticed too that you can often figure out how a puzzle needs to be solved, or at least how you need to approach it. If it is by Nintendo and there is an eye, shoot it. If there is a wall that looks different, blow it up. Someone doesn't let you through a passageway? There must be some other way. Maybe you can go through the vents. After having seen enough such challenges, you kinda get a feel for how the development team thinks. And as a side note, I find it even more interesting with the opposite scenario. It is usually very easy to see what game assets are not going to change. For example, a normal wall will surely not break. Well, maybe you too thought that until you played that one beginning part of Resident Evil 7 for the first time. Ethan! When Tears of the Kingdom was released, I strictly set the rule for myself to not look up anything. I watched a few trailers, but no gameplay at all. Neither from Nintendo nor from anywhere else. I wanted to go into this game completely fresh. It was so magical. This was the first time diving into a world which was already familiar, but now had so many new secrets. That was incredible. Imagine how shocked I was after I jumped into one of those scary holes in the ground and discovered that there was a whole world right below my feet. And don't even get me started on those new abilities. I still remember how the first thing I built was a self-propelled ram, and it had a flamethrower attached to it. I sent it into a monster camp. Of course, the ground wasn't completely flat, so it steered off and I, had to go back to slapping the monsters the old way. I noticed how much I missed really playing a game. Knowing nothing, as far as this was possible after playing Breath of the Wild, and having to figure out everything myself. Of course, the moment I let myself look up a guide, all that magic was gone. Maybe this happens to you too. It is kind of like breaking the seal. There's this weird thing where when I first look up something in a guide, I stop having fun and I'm not trying to find my own solutions anymore. Instead, I start following the guide and I'm trying to min-max my gear, get the best out of everything. What's the best combination of weapons? What's the best recipe? Where can I get the ingredients the fastest? This experience actually makes me want to consume as little gaming media as possible just so that games can be immersive again. Even one step further, I'm often wondering if there are great games out there that don't help you too much. Maybe not even at all. Nowadays you have quest markers and points of interest on the map. And if there's anything to remember, the game even automatically writes it down in some journal. I'd really love to have a game where I need to take notes myself. Old school, with pen and paper. Sure. There are games that allow you to remove those markers, but the core experience is still aimed at having them active. So if you know any games that are like that, please let me know. And until then, Thanks for watching.